Hey guys, welcome back to Mighty Morphin DJ. I'm DJ, and today we're going to count down my picks for the top 10 Megazords in Power Rangers history. Let's take a look. Alright, so my number 10 pick is the Titan Megazord from Power Rangers Mystic Force. Now, I'm not a fan of Mystic Force at all. I didn't enjoy the season. I didn't enjoy most of the characters. I didn't care for Mystic Force. But the Megazord was very, very unique in that the Rangers themselves grew big and converted into the individual Zords, or Titans. And then they would combine to form the Megazord. Now, once they were a Megazord, somehow the Rangers were in a cockpit as chess pieces, and instead of being the bodies, it got weird. But it was unique, and the Megazord gets bonus points for that, and because of that uniqueness, it lands a spot on the list. Alright, my number 9 pick is the High Octane Megazord from Power Rangers RPM. I don't like car Zords much. I didn't like Turbo. I didn't care for the Zords in Lightspeed Rescue. I don't like vehicle-based like car Zords. I just don't like it. But the High Octane Megazord itself was actually pretty cool, and it probably had a lot to do with the editing around it and how they presented it to make it look more cool, make it look more intense. For example, when it was getting ready to do its big saber slash, flames would come out of its tailpipes that it used for ears. That was pretty cool. I like that. So, mostly probably, again, due to the editing around it and the fact that RPM as a season was just so very good, the High Octane Megazord earns a spot on the list. Alright, my number 8 pick is the Storm Megazord from Power Rangers Ninja Storm. As Megazords go, this one wasn't fantastic. I didn't care for how it did its weapons, like the little ball would come out with a new weapon inside of it. I didn't care for that. But it gets credit for being the very first Megazord that is put together using only 3 individual Zords. Instead of using 5 like is common, it only used 3. And the Megazord itself didn't look bad. It looked pretty cool. And then the individual Zords themselves didn't look bad either. They were cool looking. So overall, it was a good looking Zord. It was the first one to be made up of only 3 individual Zords. So that gives it enough uniqueness to be on the list. Alright, number 7 is the Thundersaurus Megazord from Power Rangers Dino Thunder. Now, these Zords I liked because they're dinosaurs. That's always cool. But it was also, just like the Storm Megazord, it was made up of only 3 individual Zords, which was cool. And it was a T-Rex, a Pterodactyl, and a Triceratops. Must-haves if you're going to do a Dinozord of some kind. Love it. It looked good. And the Zord itself looked really cool. Its signature weapon was its arm that was essentially a drill, and it would just drill into the opponent, similar to how the Dragon Megazord would do back in Mighty Morphin. So I really liked that. I thought it was cool. What also made this Zord cool, its arms were interchangeable with other auxiliary Zords that they would find throughout the course of the show. The idea behind the Zord, the look of the Zord, and the function of the Zord was really cool, and I liked it, and it earns a spot on the list. Alright, number 6 is the Galaxy Megazord from Power Rangers Lost Galaxy. I like this Zord a lot because the thing that made it unique was that, as always, it was made up of 5 Zords, but these individual Zords were not machines. They were living beings that would convert into the Zords for the Rangers to pilot and then transform into the Megazord. It was really cool, and the Zords themselves were good looking too. I mean, they were basically like kaiju type of creatures. And the Zord assembly sequence was really cool. It made a lot of sense too. Older seasons of Power Rangers did a better job of showing what pieces went where as the Zord was combining. I really liked it. And then, of course, it had a classic saber slash signature move that it would use to defeat the enemies. This was a good looking Zord, and it earns a spot on the list. Alright, number 5 on the list is the Zeo Megazord from Power Rangers Zeo. This was a really cool looking Zord. What made it unique is that it had interchangeable helmets. Each Zord had a different helmet that it could wear, which would give it a different power or ability. It was really cool. And then the individual Zords were cool too. They were based on mystical creatures like a Phoenix, a Minotaur, the Sphinx. I like these Zords, and I like the Megazord. It looked really, really good. This was also the first Megazord to replace the Mighty Morphin Zords that we had seen before, so it had some big shoes to fill, and I think it did a good job of filling them, so it earns a spot on the list. Alright, number 4 is the Astro Megazord from Power Rangers in Space. And I really like this Zord because it was so simple. First of all, it was made up of the Astro Megaship itself, which is basically their starship that they flew around in. And it was cool, and it was armed to the teeth. It had giant laser cannons on top that it would use to fight. It was really cool. And then its transformation sequence was very easy. It would just open up, and then everything would fold out from the backside of it to form the body, and then the shuttle would form the head. It was simple, it was still good looking, it was a really good Zord. I liked it a lot, and it definitely deserves a spot on the list. Alright, now we're in the top 3, and number 3 is the Thunder Megazord from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. This was the first Megazord to replace the Dinozords from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Season 1, and it did a good job. But the individual Zords themselves were really cool. I mean, you had the Red Dragon Zord. That's always been a favorite of mine. And it converted into a Robot Warrior mode, which is the first time we had seen that. The Thunder Saber was a great weapon. I really enjoyed the slash on that when it would finish off opponents. And then this Zord actually showed you where the cockpit was for the Rangers to sit. And it was that green bulb in its chest. They were always in there. I really liked that they showed that. Alright, number 2 is the Ninja Megazord from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Season 3, and this thing was awesome. I really enjoyed it. First of all, I enjoyed watching all the Zords come out to fight the bad guy. Ninja Megazord itself was just a badass. First of all, this was the first Zord that didn't use a saber for his finishing move. It would just punch you. That was its finishing move, a punch. The Ninja Zord didn't need a saber, it was just gonna deck you, and it was awesome. And then, of course, they would combine with the Falcon Zord to create the Ninja Falcon Megazord, so then it was granted flight abilities, which was the first time we'd seen in a Megazord, and then it would come down with both its fists just like, I'm gonna punch you, and it was cool. So yes, I'm a big fan of the Ninja Megazord, and it is definitely deserving of the number 2 spot. Alright, number 1, and you saw it coming, the Megazord from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Season 1. This thing was awesome. First of all the dinosaurs coming out of their hiding spots, that was epic. And then they had 2 modes, a tank mode and a warrior mode. Tank mode was always first, and they blast the monster with cannons and lasers and stuff. It was cool. And then they would convert it into warrior mode, have a slugfest with a monster, and until ultimately they said, bring down the Power Sword. The Power Sword would come down from the sky. We never saw where that actually came from. It would get charged with lightning, and then it would just slash the enemy. It was awesome. Oh, and when first converting into warrior mode, the Megazord getting struck by lightning and charging it up, that's awesome too. By far, the number 1 Megazord in all of Power Rangers. It set the tone for all Megazords moving forward and things that you had to have. A signature weapon, a combination sequence, adaptability to other Zords, which we saw with the Dragon Zord in Mighty Morphin Season 1. It had to have a unique look, but you also had to be able to tell what Zords made up what body part, and that Zord did a good job. The Mastodon were the arms, the Pterodactyl was the chest, the Triceratops and Saber-toothed Tiger were the legs, the Tyrannosaurus made up the body, and the head. It was a great Megazord, and it set the standard for what all Megazords had to be moving forward. So guys, that's my list. Do you agree with my picks? Who would you have on your list of top 10 Megazords? Let me know in the comments below. In the meantime, this has been Mighty Morphin DJ. Please like the video, please subscribe to the channel, and please click that notification bell to receive notifications of future videos. As always, this has been Mighty Morphin DJ, and you know what time it is.